power system, solar PV, a battery, and a diesel generator. The way this runs right now is pretty straightforward. When the battery state of charge drops below its minimum level, turn on the generator and leave it on until the battery is fully charged. But what if it's sunny out? Or what if the system could tell it would be sunny out in a couple of hours? Do you still leave the generator on for the same amount of time? Of course not. Once you've invested all that money in your hybrid power system, it makes sense to use every drop of sunshine you can to reduce the amount of diesel the system needs. Our software can reduce the billions of gallons of diesel that off-grid telecom tower sites and other commercial renewable energy projects use each year. We do this by first reading energy data from a site's operations center. We run it through our patent-pending hybrid power system optimization algorithms. Make use of global weather forecast models. And finally, control the set points of the generator. The result is a 50% drop in diesel costs. This leaves project developers to the next question. What if I can design systems knowing that they'll be operated using forecasting optimization? I can reduce the size of expensive PV and storage by 10%. That means I can reduce the amount of financing I need for projects, and that means I can do more projects. Excellent. Let's take the case of telco towers. For a 2 kilowatt average load site, we can save $1,200 a year in diesel costs. We charge $2,500 up front and $250 a year, giving them a payback of about 2.5 years. In the next 7 years, there'll be about 400,000 towers with solar, battery, diesel systems, giving us a market opportunity of $210 million a year. Our differentiation and advantage in the market, there are many telecom service companies that are focused on monitoring and maintenance, but we're the only ones using forecasting to lower energy costs, regardless of what other service providers they're working with. We're a team of recent graduates from MIT, and while we don't yet have a commercial pilot, we have over 20 interested customers that would love to see our software at a commercial level. These include Cambridge Energy Resources, American Tower, GEWI, and the World Bank. Lastly, it's a good exercise to ask ourselves, will smart control of hybrid power systems be the standard years from now? Of course it will. Now let's make it happen. I'm Evan, CEO of Raha Systems. Thanks for your time, and I'm happy to take questions.
Moving into questions. So go ahead, Eric. For Congress request to finish with that.
So my first question would just be, do you have any deployments?
Mark?
You have some deployments. You have systems out in the field.
We don't have any commercial projects yet. Our CTO worked to develop a microgrid in Chile for a rural community there of about 100 people, and that's been operational for 3 years. So we have some experience on the team, but in terms of a commercial pilot, we don't have any yet.
I just want to make sure I understand it correctly. So essentially, at the end of the day, you're selling software seats, right? You're selling a software seat for a microgrid, not for somebody at a desk. But that's essentially what you're doing.
Correct.
Question, Hunter?
Sure. Hey, I spoke to you guys in April or May, I think it was, and I think you guys you've come a long way since then. I think this is a really nice way that you've proposed your solution here. Yeah, questions. You have interest from quite a variety of different parties because of, I think, where you kind of came from in your development. Where are you going to focus?
So where our software is really valuable are for these off-grid systems that have a combination of generation resources, solar and a generator and a battery. Now, telecom towers is a great application for that because they're going to be 400,000 towers with that type of system, but there are other businesses in these off-grid areas that use similar systems that could have benefit to this as well. So we're looking at different commercial applications of these types of systems.
So I'd love to understand what the software runs on. Is it in firmware in somebody's hardware device? Are you guys shipping code to an integrator who does things together? Or are you putting your own little Linux box inside a panel that then interfaces to somebody's control system? What do you ship? What does the customer see?
Yeah, so the software runs on the cloud. Customer would be, well, two things. One, it could be that customers just want notifications of how to operate their systems better. If they want automated control, then would have to tap into their existing communication protocols like Modbus.
Okay, so let's come right back down here. Eric, takeaway advice, feedback, go for it.
I think this is a fantastic idea, and one of the reasons is that it plugs and plays into technology that's already on systems. It's not a pie in the sky for you, so now will all be 100% energy storage and solar stations. Actually, very common business. So, first off, congrats on Kathy getting something installed tomorrow. The real challenge is, I think some planning to do, but this sounds familiar to the past presenters. I think you can build it, you need to find a spot in the greater Boston area and find a diesel hybrid system that you can monitor and start recording data.
Go ahead, Rob.
I also really like this. I happen to think that microgrids are, there's a great big white space there that needs to be filled, and microgrids are a big part of the solution, and too often people think about that just in hardware terms. So I really like this, and it's not a what would I do tomorrow kind of comment, but I would urge you to think bigger, and it actually dovetails with some of what Matthew was saying. First of all, you're giving up a lot of economic value. You haven't tested yet that people are going to be willing to pay $2,500 per software seat per year. And I bet you when you get out there, that's going to be really negotiated down. So you're going to be creating a lot more value than you're capturing. In the write-up, you guys haven't seen the write-up, but in that write-up, it was clear that your CTO has actually helped build some of these systems, and these systems are not rocket science. Why don't you sell microgrid systems themselves, right? Maybe that's an aspirational comment, but that way you're able to, first of all, design the system so that you are interacting with the appropriate hardware, and you get rid of those interconnect issues. And secondly, you're in a position to capture a lot more of the value that you're creating. Turn this into a service business, not a software business.
Great feedback. Moving to Nari.
Yeah, as much as I like your focus on the telecom side, I'm really interested in understanding what we can do with this in oil and gas specific applications, of course. I mean, we're also doing some work on microgrids, and I think you do have the potential to do more than just sell software. I think that there's a lot more there. So look into the alternatives that you have, whilst retaining some focus to move things forward. And try and find out what other value you can create with your solution in perhaps higher value applications.
And feedback?
So your pitch was fantastic, and the solution is really credible. Hats off to you. If I were in your shoes tomorrow morning, how many co-founders are there? 3. So tomorrow night, go out to get drinks. Have 2 drinks. Less than 2 drinks, you may not be honest with each other. More than 2, you may not be in control of your faculties. And ask each other what success looks like. I agree that you can go out and do something bigger. That's going to take a bunch more money and a lot more risk. I think if you demonstrate this and can actually show the model that you describe, you can sell this company for a few $1 million a few years from now. You each take a third of it. That'll change your lives permanently and open options that you would never have otherwise. So there's a size of pie versus slice of pie trade-off. You should all be agreed on what success looks like. If you disagree, it's going to be rough for the 3 of you.
Thank you, guys.